as you can see, this is Shanann with her good friend, Sandra Gironda. And I do hope I'm pronouncing Sandra's last name correctly. If not, I totally apologize. And they spent a good bit of time together while Shanann was in North Carolina. And Sandra talks about those times in the signed, dated, and notarized affidavit is included in the discovery. Now, this affidavit that she has sent in is very, very detailed about the things that her and Shanann talked about and the things they've done while they were together. And when we did the Nutgate Live, she was mentioned in it a couple of times. She was also mentioned in Miss Rzucek's letter to Detective Balmover that is also in the discovery. As you will see, this second paragraph here, right here, as you will see, Miss Rzucek says that Shanann had told 4 people of, what she said happened during Nutgate. Okay, now even though Sandra has her last name spelt incorrectly here, maybe that is how it should be pronounced, Gironda. So either way, however you pronounce her last name. But her name is mentioned a couple of times in the discovery, and people has even came to me and said, where is this in the discovery? Like, I can't find it. Well, it's in there, but when you do a search for this lady's name or anything like that, it's not going to come up. So anyway, even though I've read this out before, when I read the complete discovery, I thought it would probably be a good idea just to show this part again and really take in what this lady says. So this is the affidavit, and it is presented and prepared by Sandra Gironda. You can find this affidavit 6 pages starting on discovery page 926. She says, this is my personal conversations with Shanann Watts, and our visits include the dates of July the 17th, 20th, 24th, and 31st of 2018. I completely realize that at this time anything I could add is completely hearsay and possibly inadmissible. However, considering what has transpired of late and per the request of her parents, I am providing parts of my personal conversations with Shanann that I feel may be possibly relevant to the case during the time we shared during her trip to North Carolina for consideration in an effort to assist with only what I was made aware of by Shanann. I have known Shanann since she was about 15 years old. I met her and her mother, father, and brother when she worked for my family's restaurant as a hostess in Southern Pines. She later worked for our family's second restaurant location in Pinehurst in the same capacity. We became very close and bonded as close friends during her younger years. Easily fast friends. She considered me an elder confidant, and I was more than happy to oblige her when she needed someone to reach out to for advice. We remained friends after her employment in my family's restaurants. Later, I helped her get a job at AI Wireless, where we worked for a short time. I had not seen her in person since she moved to Colorado. Nonetheless, we kept in touch online through the years. During her recent visit to North Carolina in July of 2018, she reached out to me and wanted to spend some time with me one-on-one while she was here. As you can imagine, I was so excited to see her again and the opportunity to finally meet the girls to whom I watched grow online all through their years. We set a date for dinner for Tuesday, July the 17th, 2018. She wanted to have some one-on-one time with me to talk and catch up, and she scheduled her mother to watch the girls during our dinner date. Tuesday, July the 17th, 2018. We met up at my family's restaurant in Southern Pines at approximately 6:30 p.m. We sat on the patio and had dinner. Conversation started off like any other. We had pleasantries and how good it was to see each other, how much we had missed each other. She appeared to be very happy, absolutely glowing with pregnancy. During our meal, we discussed her family life. She said she was so happy, loved being a mom, wife, and excited in the success of her business and where it was heading. Along in the conversation, I asked her how her relationship has developed with her mom, particularly now that she was a mom herself. She said that she understands her mother more now than ever. They have always been close and now closer than ever, and how thankful she was to have a mom like her, guiding her through. Then, she offered, my mother and sister-in-law is a different story altogether. Curious and seeing obviously that she wanted to touch on that, I asked her, how so? She began to tell me how her mother-in-law and sister-in-law have clearly been unaccepting of her throughout her relationship with her husband, and how difficult it was for her and Chris to cope with it. She said her mother-in-law particularly tries to undermine her as a wife and a mother any chance she could find. Well, I asked her how her father-in-law reacted to her mother-in-law and sister-in-law's position. She said that he was a wonderful man and he was good to her, but she could see that it was her mother-in-law that ruled the roost. And her sister-in-law does and acts in whatever manner her mother-in-law expects of her when it pertains to Shanann. I asked her how Chris handled the situation, and she said that Chris was her rock, always supportive, always put her and the girls first, and she felt that was a real contention of tension between her and her mother-in-law and sister-in-law. Her mother-in-law and sister-in-law were crystal clear with her and have told her on many occasions that she was and never would be good enough for Chris, that she drags Chris down, that she did not truly love Chris and Chris deserved so much better. She added that her mother-in-law and sister-in-law blame her for taking Chris so far away from them to Colorado. She said that Chris was so happy to move, and that her mother-in-law was not exactly a nurturing mother to Chris as a child and teen, more possessive and controlling than anything, even through adulthood, and that he was just so ready to get far away from the negativity that they place in his life. Disheartened to say the least, not having ever met her in-laws to know any different than what Shanann was confiding in me, and knowing Shanann the way I do, I could not imagine anyone not embracing her. I told her how sad I was for her and for Chris, and they were made to live and deal with such animosity from his family. I assured her that whatever feelings her mother-in-law and sister-in-law are and have been for her, so long as Chris stands by her and the girls, then that is all that really matters. I suggested that she let Chris lead the way in dealing with his family and their issues with her. She said her heart breaks for Chris each time they come down on him about her, because she sees firsthand how it hurts him and affects their marriage. And to add insult to the injury, Shanann then added that her mother-in-law has done what she could through the years to make her daughters, Bella and Cece, feel less than throughout their lives. Shanann said that she felt like her mother-in-law would go through the motions of being a good grandmother for Chris's sake, but could see that the actions outweighed the words. Same applied to her sister-in-law. I asked Shanann for an example, and she said, "Oh girl, so many." But to provide the latest example was that despite knowing how her mother-in-law and sister-in-law felt about her, and even though Chris was not yet in North Carolina to join her, she did not want to deprive her daughters of as much time as they could spend with his family during her visit. So Shanann arranged a visit with them, and I understand that was sometime during the week before our dinner together. She said the visit seemed to be going along smoothly at first. However, Shanann felt the tension in the air, and that their ill feelings about her and how they interact with Bella and Cece was still fresh with them. She said that she kept a brave face and a positive attitude during her visit, hoping that this visit could work towards building bridges with her mother-in-law and sister-in-law and bring some peace. She said they had lunch, I believe on the patio, hot dogs if I can remember correctly, and that after lunch her mother-in-law had Bella and Cece follow her to the kitchen for some dessert. Shanann heard the girls getting excitable, possibly out of hand, and out of motherly curiosity, Shanann went into the kitchen to check on them and found that her mother-in-law was handing the girls a small bowl of ice cream. Shanann noticed some pieces of something in the ice cream. Shanann asked her mother-in-law if the ice cream had nuts in it, and her mother-in-law just responded, "Yeah, just a little." Shanann was stunned and told her girls, "I'm sorry, girls, you cannot eat that." Her mother-in-law followed and was still trying to hand the girls the bowls of ice cream, and having not looked up at Shanann, said to the girls, "Oh, your mommy doesn't know what she's talking about. This ice cream couldn't hurt you." And at that point, Shanann apologized to the girls and sent them out of the kitchen without the ice cream. Shanann said to her mother-in-law, once they were alone, "You know that they are deathly allergic to all nuts and send them into an anaphylactic shock. I do not understand how you think it is okay to give them ice cream with nuts in it. Please respect their dietary restrictions, and to please ask me first when offering any food to the girls, and I will let you know if they can eat what you're offering." Her mother-in-law waved her hand in dismissal at Shanann and told Shanann that she was just being overprotective as usual, and just passed her by to head back out to where her sister-in-law was with the girls. Frustrated, Shanann followed her mother-in-law out of the kitchen. Shanann said it was so hard for her to not raise her voice, but said that she did not want to create a scene with her in-laws in front of the girls, so she bit her tongue from saying any further, and she followed her mother-in-law out of the kitchen to where the girls were visiting with her sister-in-law. Shanann noticed that when they rejoined the girls and sister-in-law, that the sister-in-law abruptly got up and went into the house. About 5 or so minutes further into their visit, from that point, Bella told her mother that she was thirsty, so Shanann went into the kitchen to get her something to drink. She said that she was floored to find her sister-in-law was placing large bowls of mixed nuts on the kitchen table, in clear reach of the girls. She asked her sister-in-law why she was doing that, and her response to Shanann was, "We always have nuts out on the kitchen table." Shanann told her, "I was just in here and there was no nuts on the table. You know how allergic the girls are to nuts." Shanann told me that she was so upset, hurt, shocked, and amazed that they both would try to offer her girls nuts directly and indirectly, that she felt that her only course of action was to simply collect the girls and go home to her parents' house. Shanann said that despite their actions, she informed them of Cece's upcoming birthday party, time, place, and asked them to please be there, that it would mean so much to the girls and Chris if they could make it. With that, Shanann left with the girls. Of course, I was shocked to hear all of this. I asked her if she had spoken to Chris about the incidents, and she said yes, and he was not happy at all about it, and he would speak to them. Shanann added that prior to her visit with her in-laws, that she was considering allowing the girls an overnight visit with them. She said that after that incident with the nuts, that she just could not trust it. She decided that she would not take the girls back to their house without Chris present. She asked me my opinion in that did I feel she may be wrong about not going back to their house until Chris was with them. And I advised, no, your first and foremost priority as a parent is to protect your children. That you should never feel or be made to feel guilty in being a protective mother. I offered that they should have known better, and it was clear to me from the incident Shanann explained to me that they do not respect her as a mother and were dismissive of the girls' health issues that I understand from Shanann that they were fully aware of all along. I told Shanann if it were me, I surely would not take the children back there alone or leave them alone with them for any reason. From there, we continued our conversation talking about old times and old memories and where our lives are today. Friday, July the 20th, 2018. I attended the Thrive event at Kickback Jack's. Nan snapped a selfie with me during the event. After the event, we remained together with a few of her friends and had a wonderful time enjoying some girly time with her friends. We did not speak of anything that may be of concern to her during that time, just that she was looking forward to next Tuesday to pick up where we left off in our conversation. Tuesday, July the 24th, 2018. We had our second one-on-one dinner at my family's restaurant in Southern Pines. We met up at around 6:30 p.m. and sat in the main dining room. As conversation went underway, I asked her how Cece's birthday party went. She said it was wonderful and the girls had so much fun. They were so happy with the party and the girls were missing their daddy and wished that he was there, as did she. She then said, "Guess who did not show up?" Shanann informed me that Chris's family did not make it to the party. I call or text or let her know that they would not make it. Shanann said she texted and called them several times during the party to see if they remembered and to assure that they knew where to go and what time the party was. Shanann said that they never responded to her calls or texts. Shanann told me how sad that she was for the girls that they didn't make it to the party. Shanann vented to me, "It does not matter how they feel about me personally. There is no excuse for them not to make it to the party for the girls." Shanann further added that she had a feeling that they did not come because Shanann declined allowing the girls an overnight visit after the nut incidents. They knew Chris would not be at the party and that it was their way of retaliation towards Shanann. Shanann was clearly quite hurt that they were a no-show. I asked her if she had spoken to Chris to let him know that they were not at the party, and she said yes, and that Chris said that he was upset by it and he was going to talk to them. I offered for her not to dwell on it further. It was their loss, in my opinion, to just let Chris handle it. I advised her to stay positive and not allow their behavior to affect her heart negatively, bring her down on her trip, and to just enjoy the people who enjoy her and the girls in return. Shanann said that she was trying her best and would continue to try, but it just hurts so bad that they think so little of her that they would take it out on the girls. She then added, "Do you remember last week when I said I would not go back to their house to visit with the girls without Chris?" And I said yes. She then said, "I have decided that it would be best for the girls and Chris if I did not go with them during their visit to her in-laws. Chris can take the girls for a visit when he gets here if he still wants to after how they have treated our girls." I asked her if she thought maybe it would be better for Chris and the girls if they could provide a united front together as a family and go with them to her in-laws if she would reconsider. She said that she sees my point, but that she did not want to be there in their negative tension while Chris and the girls are spending time with them. She said that it may be the best thing she can do for them in an effort for Chris and the girls to have a positive visit. She knows that considering their recent behavior with the nuts, that Chris will be all over it where the girls are concerned. She said that she just wished her mother-in-law and sister-in-law would just get over it already. Wished that they would accept, have a great marriage, beautiful little happy girls, and a new baby on the way to look forward to. We planned a third dinner date for the following Tuesday after Chris came to town. She was excited for me to finally meet Chris and the girls. It would be Chris and the girls' first time at my family's restaurant, and she was excited to share with them because she had so many happy memories to share with them of her time working there. Tuesday, July the 31st, 2018. I set a reservation for them at my family's restaurant at 6 p.m. I was held up at home waiting to sign for a package. I headed out to the restaurant to meet up with Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Chris at around 6:30 p.m. Their apps was served by the time I arrived. I sat next to Chris across from Shanann, Bella, and Cece in their booth. It was so nice to finally meet them especially all together as a family. The girls were clearly happy to see their daddy, were bubbly, excitable, smiling bright, and enjoying their buttery noodles. Chris was quiet, felt unassuming, did not say much, but when we spoke of the possibility of a baby boy on the way, he lit up with a smile. It appeared to me that he was happy to be back in the company of his wife and girls, just not a man of many words. We all went to the lobby to visit just a pinch longer, considering this would be my last time seeing them for a long while. If there was trouble in paradise for them, they did a wonderful job of hiding it. I did not get any negative vibes or urges of concern from or about him or from Shanann or the girls in relation to him. For all intents and purposes, they were a happy family, looking forward to a quick trip to the beach before they headed home to Colorado. Shanann, with the girls and husband in tow, kept the conversation light and airy. She did not bring up the family issues and was just so happy to have Chris with them in North Carolina after having been apart those past weeks. About 9 p.m. or so, we said our farewells. Shanann snapped a picture of me and the girls in the restaurant waiting area, and then I walked them out. I had no inclination that I would never see them again. Later, she posted on Facebook that she felt very ill, and she thought it felt like that she was experiencing symptoms of food poisoning. She later texted me with another self-diagnosis of dehydration. I chalked it up as side effects of the pregnancy. I had no idea, or could have never expected, that just a few short weeks later I would hear that they went missing and then murdered, and that Chris confessed to killing them all. My heart and mind just keep going back to my one-on-one conversations with Shanann during our dinner dates and the troubles that she had been having with her in-laws, past and present, wondering, could any of it be connected? I wonder how much of what Shanann confided in me about her in-laws was shared with her mother, father, brother, or other close friends while she was visiting North Carolina. I do not know if any of us will ever truly have all of the information about what exactly occurred. What we do know is that Shanann, Bella, Cece, and unborn baby Nico are gone to us all, and that they deserve so much better than to lose their lives in such a violent manner at the hand of pure evil. I do not care to, nor will I speak to any media outlet on this matter in any capacity for any reason. I respectfully request that the information, all details of this affidavit, not be shared with any media outlet in any format for any reason. I provide this affidavit strictly for the insight it could provide. I, like her family and many friends, seek justice for Shanann, Bella, Cece, the 4 precious souls Chris so selfishly and violently robbed this world of. Sandra Gironda, signed August the 20th, 2018. And, of course, notarized the same day. And this is where Shanann checked in on July the 17th, Southern Pines, North Carolina at Vito's. So, as you see, where I just read this out, there's a lot of it that, again, is different than some of the other stories about Nutgate that we have heard. So to truly know which story is correct, one can only use their own speculations, and just decide for yourself. If you have not already watched the live video we had about Nutgate and the different interviews, the people involved in the case, and their stories about Nutgate, I do highly recommend that you watch that, because this lady's affidavit, it goes with Nutgate as well, because as you heard, there was a lot of talk about Nutgate as well as Cece's birthday party. However, again, this lady's story is also quite different from the other stories that the people were told about what happened at Nutgate. I can say this, it was verified that Jamie was not there at the Watts home on the Monday that Nutgate happened. Shanann was actually going to be going back to her parents later that day anyway. She had been there since Friday, and that's what they did. She stayed from Friday till Monday, and Monday evening, when Ronnie got off of work, they would meet her parents, and she would go back to their house for the week. And I believe it was on the 9th, July the 9th. It could have been the 8th. It was the 8th or 9th. I'll have to go back and look. But Jamie was not there. She had dropped her children off there and went to work. The only ones that were present during Nutgate was Cindy, Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Jamie's 2 children. Of course, everybody heard about it, but many people heard many different stories. Again, and I will link it at the end of this video. Again, if you have not watched the Nutgate Live, I suggest watching it. We do have, like I say, all those interviews, and you can hear all of the different stories that was told to different people about Nutgate. And this lady here, Sandra, this is her story, and she was very detailed about it. And this is one of the Thrive events when she was in North Carolina, and she says she's so incredibly proud of everyone here. Amazing. Local today with some powerful testimonies, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room. She says she loves them all. Sandra says that the last time that she saw Shanann, Bella, and Cece was dinner at Vito's on July the 31st, 2018. She said the girls made fast friends with an elderly lady who was waiting in the lobby area. Bella and Cece had the lady smiling from ear to ear, and I am grateful Shanann took that picture of us sunshine babies. And of course, this is the photo she's speaking of. But thank you all so much for listening. Let me know what you think about this story of Nutgate in the comments below. And until next time, this is Unjustified. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave us a comment below on your thoughts of this video. And until next time, this is Unjustified.